The movement of these beads is unorganized, random. Random movement is typical of very small particles, such as smoke. With the help of a special apparatus, we can see the random movement of smoke particles in still air. The same kind of random movement occurs in paint particles in liquid, in milk droplets, and even within living cells. These particles move because they are being bombarded on all sides by even smaller particles, molecules, which we can't see. This model helps explain what we saw under the microscope. The beads represent molecules, and the movement of the beads illustrates the way molecules move. The large blue bead is being pushed about by collisions with many small ones. In a similar way, the large milk droplets are being pushed about by many collisions with invisible molecules of water. Molecules move because they have kinetic energy, energy of motion. What we call temperature is, in fact, a measure of the kinetic energy of molecules. Molecules move faster as temperature rises, slower as temperature falls. Because they have kinetic energy, then, molecules are in continuous random movement. When molecules are closely packed together, there will be many collisions. The movement of a specially marked molecule shows that each molecule stays more or less in place until more space becomes available. The movement of molecules from where they're concentrated to where they're less concentrated is called diffusion. In these experiments, diffusion of molecules is indicated by the spreading color. Diffusion occurs when the collisions among closely packed molecules causes them to move apart. Eventually, the molecules become evenly distributed throughout the available space. The same thing happens when more than one substance is involved. Each substance diffuses from where it's concentrated to where it's less concentrated. Sometimes moving particles will collide with a barrier. Some barriers block the movement of particles. Others allow some or all of the particles to move through them. A barrier that allows particles to move through it is called permeable. Particles can move through permeable barriers in both directions. Living cells, too, are surrounded by barriers which keep the material inside the cells from mixing with the material outside. In cells, the barriers are very thin membranes which form part of the cell wall. Diffusion of molecules through membranes is essential to life. We can get some clues about the behavior of membranes from an experiment with iodine and starch. Here's what happens when iodine and starch combine. The dish is divided by an artificial membrane which simulates a cell membrane.